If stories like this stay with you, you may want to hear what comes next.
I never believed a place could hold a grudge until I moved into the rental.
It was November 2012, in a quiet pocket of rural Ohio.
I was 24 and worked late shifts at a distribution center.
The house was a single-story ranch with faded yellow siding.
It sat at the end of a cul-de-sac, backing up to a dense tree line. A gravel driveway stretched 30 feet from the road to the porch.
My shift ended at 10, and the drive took 30 minutes. The sky was a flat, lightless gray that night.
I parked my sedan on the loose gravel near the front steps.
The engine ticked as it cooled in the damp air. A streetlight across the road flickered with a weak orange glow.
It cast long, shifting shadows across the overgrown yard.
I grabbed 2 grocery bags from the passenger seat.
The air smelled of impending snow and wet leaves. The house was dark, save for the microwave clock's blue light. I unlocked the solid wood door and stepped inside. The beige carpet in the living room was worn and flat. I left the front door wide open to get more bags.
The air inside felt colder than the air outside. That detail didn't register as a warning immediately. I flipped the wall switch, but the overhead light remained dark.
I sighed, assuming the old bulb had finally burned out. I navigated by the dim blue glow toward the kitchen. The kitchen had peeling linoleum floors and laminate counters. The silence in the house felt heavy and pressurized. I turned back toward the living room to return to the car. A sharp click echoed from the front of the house. It was the distinct sound of the deadbolts sliding into place. I froze, my hand hovering over the countertop edge. The hallway connecting the rooms was a tunnel of shadow. I knew I had left that heavy door wide open.
I had not walked back to close it.
Slowly, I reached for the heavy flashlight in the utility drawer. I clicked it on, sending a white beam into the gloom.
Dust motes danced in the light as I walked forward. I reached the living room and aimed the light at the entrance.
The wooden door was firmly shut.
The brass turnpiece of the lock was vertical.
Someone inside the house had to have turned it.
I stood perfectly still, listening for breathing or footsteps. The house settled with a groan, but nothing else moved.
A smell of wet earth and copper drifted through the room.
It was faint, but distinct, like penny nails in dirt. I walked to the door and placed my hand on the wood.
It was vibrating slightly, as if a heavy truck had passed.
But there were no trucks on the road outside. I unlocked the bolt and pulled the door open violently. The porch was empty. The gravel driveway was undisturbed under the flickering streetlight. My car sat exactly where I had left it. I wedged the door open with a heavy rubber stop. I ran to the car and grabbed the last case of water. I hurried back inside, feeling eyes on my back. I stepped inside, kicked the stop away, and locked the door.
I engaged the deadbolt and the handle lock.
I backed away into the kitchen, keeping the light trained forward.
Then came a sound from the back of the house.
It was a soft, wet thud against a bedroom door.
The hallway stretched 12 feet into total darkness.
There were 3 doors, a bathroom and 2 bedrooms.
I walked down the hall, hugging the wall. The drywall felt cold and damp under my fingertips.
The door opened into the master bedroom.
The room was empty, illuminated only by my flashlight beam.
The bed was made, the closet door shut tight.
I swung the light toward the single window on the far wall. Condensation had formed heavily on the interior glass.
In the center of the fog was a mark. The water was still beating and rolling from the fresh touch.
I spun around, illuminating the corners of the room.
There was absolutely no one else in the house.
I retreated to the living room and sat with my back to the wall.
I did not sleep, and I did not turn off the flashlight.
I moved out 3 weeks later, breaking my lease.
I never saw a figure, a shadow, or a face.
But sometimes, in my new apartment, I smell wet earth. I still check the locks 3 times every night.